All right, so this lesson today is going to be with the graphing calculator. I'm going to put this function, negative absolute value of x plus 2. Remember, absolute value is the distance to 0. I want to show you how to put absolute value into the calculator. And there's some trickiness here with the minus. I'm going to do this graph real quick just to show you how to put the thing in. And then I'm going to do this graph. When I do this graph, I'm going to have to mess with the viewing window in order to see it. And there's a reason I put the 0.5 here, okay? It's not just to make it look bad. So I'm going to have to mess with the viewing window in order to see the entire graph. So I'll show you how to do that. Then I'm going to find the zeros. Remember, the zeros are where, I mean, they also call them roots. It's where the graph crosses the x-axis. Now, this is a parabola. So at most, it can cross twice. It could cross once. It could cross not at all. I mean, I could make you a parabola that doesn't touch the x-axis at all, right there. This thing has no roots and no zeros. This does not touch the x-axis. So, it's possible that you have no roots, but, this one will cross twice, and I will show you how to calculate them on, using the graphing calculator. Okay. So here's my wonderful, beautiful emulator. It's so pretty. Okay, so remember, the first function that I wanted to put in was negative absolute value x plus 2. So you go to y equals. Now, the first thing is you want to put the negative. So most people will press the minus thing here, right? It's red. The problem is that your calculator is looking to do subtraction when it sees that. So watch, I'll try to do that. I'm going to just put negative x and hit enter, and then I'm going to hit graph, and watch, it's going to give me an error. The calculator is mad at me now. It doesn't like the way that I put that. So again, go to y equals. So you clear it out. You have to press this button down here, which is the negative. You cannot hit the minus for subtraction. The calculator is it's division, multiplication, subtraction, addition. When it sees this negative there, you see, look, it even looks different. When you see that negative, the calculator is trying to do subtraction. It doesn't understand. So if you want a negative in front of the thing, I got to clear it out again because I'm an idiot. You have to put this minus. Now, how do you put absolute value? There's no absolute value anywhere here. You go to math, you go over to number, and it's the very top one, and then you just hit enter, and it should give you the absolute value things. Now, when you want to put a letter, see, look, there's letters here, X, T, you hit X. And now I don't want to put the plus 2 inside there, right? If you remember the one I wrote on the board, the plus 2 was outside there, so you just hit plus 2. And now I hit enter. Now I'm going to graph the thing. Just a press graph. And it made an upside down V. Now remember, the absolute value graph was a V. When you put a negative in front of the graph, what it does is it flips it over the x-axis. And it makes sense because it takes all the y values that are positive and makes them minus. It takes all the negative y values and makes them plus, right? A minus and a minus make a plus. So that's why the graph flips upside down. So there you go. You can look at the window. These things tell you how far it goes to the left and the right on the x-axis, how far it goes up and down on the y-axis, and now the scale is how much it counts by. So if I'm doing a 10 by 10 window, it's going to count them by ones. If I change that scale to 2, then it goes 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. It's not a good idea to mess with the scale unless you start messing with the other values. When it's 10 by 10, you should leave it at 1. Okay, so I'm going to clear it out. So now the second graph I wanted to put had 0.5. So you go to 0.5. And again, you should be doing this with me. Press the buttons with me so you learn what to do. Now, I need to put parentheses, right? I'm going to put parentheses. And I have to put x minus 12 there. X minus 12. That's what I wrote on the board, all right? And, you can't see the board right now because I'm sharing the screen with the calculator. Now, I need to put a power. So you can do one of two things. You can use the arrow, the little carrot hat thing. I don't know what the hell they call this, all right? And you can put the 2. Or you could have just gone over here to where it said x squared. So I don't want to clear the whole thing out, and I'm an idiot, and I can't just delete the whole thing. I guess if I go back to it, I can delete it. And then you can hit squared instead. You see, I told you I was going to screw that up. I'm going to do the whole thing over again. 0.5. There's a way to delete it where you can just delete the one thing you just did, and I'm too stupid to be able to do it. X minus 12. Now see here, you have to use the minus because I'm subtracting. You're doing X take away 12. You don't use this negative on the bottom unless you're putting a negative in the front of the whole thing. This time I'll hit the squared and it'll do it right. And then I'll put plus, oh no, I had minus. It was minus 8. So again, take away 8. All right, so this is the dude I want to graph. 0.5 parentheses x minus 12 squared, take away 8. I know it's a parabola. I know for a fact it's a parabola. So I'm going to graph it, and I should definitely see a parabola. I don't see a parabola. Shit, what did I do wrong? You didn't do anything wrong. The problem is that the graph, this particular graph is outside the viewing window. Now, you could be a primitive Neanderthal and hit zoom, and you can hit number 3, which is zoom out, and then you got to just hit enter here. And it's going to show you, oh, there it is, yay. Don't do this. I never, ever do this, all right? I always want the window. If you want to mess with the window, go where it says window. Actually, no, go to where it says zoom and hit Z standard, 6, press 6. Go to zoom and press 6 and put the window back the way it was. And I'm going to show you how to do this correctly. I'm going to go to now, see, I need, let me see if I can grab my pen and completely ruin this. I need over here. Like I can see that the graph goes that way. Like, I mean, I already know because I zoomed out that I'm looking for that. So I'm gonna mess with, I gotta stop the pen. I'm gonna mess with the window. I'm gonna change X max to say 20. So now the x-axis is going to go out to 20 toward the right. I'm also going to change the scale to 2 so it doesn't look as horrible. You can leave the scale at 1. It starts to look kind of monstrous when you do this. See? Now I got the whole picture. I don't have to mess with the window up or down. Look, I see the bottom of the bowl. I mean, this is important. I see the bottom. Later on, you're going to compute this. This is the minimum. The bottom of the bowl. I need to know that point, and I'm going to know that point, but I don't need to do it right now. So as long as I see the whole parabola, I mess with my window correctly. So when you do this for me on your exam, you're going to draw me a box and you're going to put all the numbers there. You're going to put X min, X max, right? You're going to put the numbers on the outside of the box, and then you're going to put Y max and Y min. It would be 10 and minus 10. So this is how you're going to draw it for me. When you turn in the quizzes and exams, you're going to make the picture. Now, I'm going to show you how to do the zeros. You could see that it crosses twice. And, you know, there's ways that you can trace. Trace is not accurate, so you're not going to use trace. But it does cross twice like it's supposed to. Remember, not all the parabolas are going to cross twice. I drew you one on the board that doesn't cross at all. So to start computing stuff, you have to use calculate. Now, if you look above the trace button, it says calculate. So you hit second, which is kind of like your shift, and then you hit calculate. And it gives you a bunch of things. It says value, 0, minimum, maximum, intersect. You're going to do all of them except for 6 and 7, which are calculus things. So you're going to do number 2. So you can just press 2, or you can move the thing down. Now, here's the subtleness with the calculator. And I need to use the pen to try to show you. It's asking you for something called a left bound. Here's what the calculator does. Here's where you cross, right? You need to give the calculator a point to the left and to the right. Now, notice that to the left, the graph is above the x-axis, and to the right, the graph is below the x-axis. What the calculator does is this. The calculator starts looking at the y values, and it sees positive, 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 negative. Oh, shit. My sign switched. It went from plus to minus. Therefore, I know somewhere in the middle, it was 0. How do you go from positive to negative unless you at some point went to 0? So this is what the calculator does. The calculator is going to try to figure out where the sign switch occurred. So to do left bound, I got to try looking for the cursor now. Oh, hello. I'm pressing mine. Good moron. Let's see. I think I'm going the wrong way. 5, no. There it is. Yay. Okay. So keep moving the thing until you see it. Now, if I click my left bound, you see the flashing thing. If I click my left bound right now, I totally screwed myself. You have to make sure that the left bound is to the left of the 0. So in this case, it is. So now I'm just going to hit enter. Notice y equals 1.88. What the hell does that mean? Nothing. It just means it's positive. So now I'm going to hit enter. Now it's going to say, give me a right bound. It's going to keep the left bound. Well, you can't see it, but it keeps the left bound in its memory. Now, you see how I have negative 1.9? So I had like a positive number there, and now I have a negative number there. So now I'm ready. So I'm going to hit enter, and I don't know why it says this. It says guess. Okay, yeah, sure, to guess. So hit enter another time, and it gives you the 0. It says x is 8, and y is, big surprise, 0. Sometimes it's not going to tell you 0 for y. It might tell you some weird-ass number, and it means 0. All right, so that's the first one. I need to get the second one now, so I'm going to do it again. I'm going to go to second. I'm going to go to calculate. And I'm going to go to 0. I'm going to hit enter. Now it's going to ask me for a left bound. Now, notice, here comes my pen tool again. I apologize for the horrible artwork here. Here's the other 0. This time, right, left bound, left, right bound, right. It's impossible to draw with the mouse. I don't know how people do it. This time, the left bound is below the x-axis, and the right bound is above the x-axis. Again, I can't draw on my screen, so I apologize for the horrible garbage there. So let me clear it out. So now left bound, you should move the thing as close as you can to the 0. Just make sure that you stay to the left of it. Now, how do you know? You see these numbers down there? -4, -3, -2, I'm getting closer, -1. I'll hit enter there. Now I'm going to switch it so that I go above. Make sure you get a positive number right there, +2. So now I'm going to hit enter, and then one more time. And now it tells me the other 0 is 16. So there you go. I got them both. One of them was 8, +8, and the other one was 16. So this is how you do the zeros on the calculator. Does it get more complicated? Not really. It's just that you might have more. I might have an x to the 3rd graph that crosses 3 times. I might have an x to the 4th graph that crosses 4 times. So you'll just have to do this, as many times as you need to.